Language disorder describes language difficulties that endure into middle childhood and beyond, and have a significant functional impact on a person's educational progress, social interactions, and other aspects of everyday life. Some children have language disorders associated with another identified condition such as autism or general learning difficulties. Some children have developmental language disorder or DLD. So what is DLD? Developmental language disorder is a condition where children have problems understanding and/or using spoken language. In a number of countries, including Ireland, DLD has been agreed as the diagnostic term to encompass previous labels such as specific language impairment or specific speech and language disorder. DLD is the most prevalent developmental disability of childhood. It is not caused by a medical condition and has no other known or definitive cause. For example, it is not associated with Down syndrome, autism, or general learning difficulties. DLD is often present regardless of a child's socioeconomic status, parental education, or the level of exposure to rich communication experiences. If a child has DLD, it will impact every language they speak. It is variable in its presentation. No two children with DLD will present in the same way. DLD is often referred to as a hidden disability. You cannot tell if someone has DLD by looking at them, and many children who have DLD learn to hide their difficulties. The diagnosis of DLD is a complex process. DLD should only be diagnosed by a speech and language therapist. They will assess the child's ability to understand and use language over time. The SLT will also consider the impact of their communication strengths and needs at home, in school, and in their relationships. A child may be diagnosed with DLD if they have problems understanding and/or using spoken language. They are developing typically in other ways and there is no obvious reason for their language difficulties. Their difficulties are likely to endure into adulthood. There is a significant impact on their progress at school and/or their social relationships and other aspects of everyday life. DLD is hidden but common. In a classroom of 30, 2 to 3 students will have DLD. Many children with DLD go unidentified in school. Let's think about how DLD can look in the classroom. This is Rory. Rory is a young boy with DLD. He is in first class. He is a helpful, kind and friendly little boy who loves to play football with his friends. Rory tries hard at school and art is his favourite subject. Rory's teacher, Múinteoir Áine, was key in identifying Rory's difficulties. She noticed that he had word-finding difficulties. He often used words like thingy, and he also used lots of fillers when he couldn't find the word like am and you know. He struggled to tell stories and give his news. The words in his sentences were not always in the right order. He had difficulties following classroom instructions and struggled to understand WH questions. Rory also had difficulties with grammar. These difficulties were having a significant impact on Rory's life and well-being. Rory struggled to access many subjects in the curriculum. He could easily lose concentration because he was trying hard to understand all the time. At times, Rory got frustrated when people didn't understand him. Rory could be withdrawn at school. He was often on his own at break and lunchtime. Rory's teacher noticed his difficulties and spoke to his parents about referring to speech and language therapy, which led to his diagnosis of DLD. Rory is now linked with a speech and language therapist who is working with the school to ensure that strategies are in place to reduce the impact of Rory's difficulties and to support the development of his language skills. So how does it feel to have DLD?
Widely speaking a different language.
You know it, but you just can't say it. It does get lonely.
You're trying to think of a word in your head. You can't find out what you actually mean, and then you try to explain it and it just comes out all mumble jumble.
With support from SLT and people in the child's life, the impact of DLD can be reduced. So how can we support children with DLD? By being aware of DLD. Remember, it is hidden but very common. It is important that you spread the word amongst your education colleagues to ensure these children get the support that they need. International DLD Awareness Day is held every October. There will be a list of websites at the end of this video if you want to learn more about it. Raising awareness means we are more likely to identify students with DLD in the classroom. Collaboration between the child, SLTs, teachers and parents ensures the best outcomes for these students.
You can find more information on DLD by following these links.